Good morning, everybody. We're going to give it a second for everybody to hop on. We'll get ready and get started with the classes. Say hi in the comments. Let us know where you're watching from. Thanks for being here this morning. Well, it's morning here. East Coast, not so much. We'll get started here in just a second. Give everybody time to get their kit out and ready to go. The first one we're doing is Travel Friends. This fun little book on the front, interactive page. We'll get started here in a second. Okay.
Good morning, everybody from Washington State, where it's pretty nice and cool here. I know some of you on the East Coast are burning up, so you can come stay with me for a week and enjoy the cool weather. So we have a lot going on today, 4 different classes, and I'm going to teach a couple. Stacy's going to do one, and of course, Garage Mary's going to show up at the end, and she's going to do the last one for us. We all look forward to Garage Mary coming in and giving us a hand. So the very first class we're going to do is called People, Places, Amazing Destinations, but it's Travel Friends. And the little quote here says, "It's not the places you travel that make it worthwhile. It's the people you meet along the way." And that's so true, isn't it? It's so true. Either, no matter if you bring them with you or you just meet brand new people along the way. So we have 4 layout classes this time. This is by request. We usually do a fun little project at the end, and this time everybody said, let's just do just one more layout class. So we're doing that today, and it'll be 4 classes. We have prizes coming up. Anytime you hear a train go by, and sometimes there's very few, and sometimes there's a lot. So keep an ear out for the train, because we don't always hear them, because we are train tone deaf anymore, because we listen to them all day long. So anyway, that's just our way of giving prizes, and so listen for the train. What can you think of, Stacy, that they need to know of?
Especially for people who have not joined us before on one of these, the train prizes, that's a big deal. So every time there's a train that goes by, there is a prize. Also, if we lose you for some reason on the live feed, then we will just know we are working to get it back up, and you just refresh your page until the new live video comes back up. It very rarely happens, but just so you know, especially for the new people joining us, we are working like crazy to get it put back on. So if it does drop for some reason, just know we will get it back up and going. Throughout the day, we'll have a special for you, 4 classes, prizes, and we'll get started with this first class.
And you're also going to hear about some of the things that we have coming up, such as private reserve and anything else that we have in the works. It's going to be a busy summer for everybody. So anyway, we're getting ready to get started. Get your pieces out. Stacy's going to get the camera set up. And this one has lots of little pieces. So go ahead and start punching things out. But before you get to the cutting, we're going to do that kind of together, so you kind of know where we're at with that. It really doesn't matter too much where you cut, but on the one that has the pictures all across the page, then you might want to take a little closer look at the diagram. You will want to hang on to the wood frame. It looks like this. We cut a piece out of the middle of it because we needed it somewhere else, but this is going to be part of our background. So locate your wood frame, and even if you don't get pieces punched out before we start. It's totally okay because we can do it as we go along, and some of those tiny little pieces we're going to call detail, and we don't even get to those during the 1 hour class. We usually save those till about, you can put together the last half hour between classes so you can get the little things done. So with that said, here we have this. This is your frame. This is going to be the very first thing that we use, and while I have it out here, I'm going to go ahead and punch out that center and save it. Then I'm going to add it to my trimmer and trim off that little label. This is called our melody line. It's not been out very long, and this is just a nice board print with some brown with dots on the back. Get to those during the 1 hour class. We usually add it to my trimmer and trim off that little label. Okay, so that's the first thing that we're going to cut. And while you're doing that, we might as well cut the other piece. There's a little bit of trimming and cutting on this one. So keep your trimmer out for just a little bit. You have a sheet that's a full sheet like this. This will be page 2. You also need to trim the label off. So let's go ahead and do that. It will be out of the way and ready to go when we need it. Do I need to scoot over a little bit? So full sheet, 12 by 12 of the whiteboard paper. And that's page 2. I'm going to set that aside. Page 1 is the whiteboard paper with a square cut out of the middle. Okay. So for those of you who have already opened up your kits and put everything together, I may be calling on you today to say, okay, what's next here? If you will look at this half sheet of paper, it looks like this. Has some instructions on one side, has cutting diagrams on the other side. So what I want you to do is we're going to start with the 6 by 12 red paper, and you have that in your kit, a pre-cut 6 by 12 red paper, and you're going to lay this diagram right in front of you and use this diagram to cut your paper. And I'm not going to go over and over the dimensions because it just gets people confused. And that way, if you look at this and do it on your own. So I'm just going to tell you one time, we have a 6 by 7, that's this piece. We have a 3 by 6, that's the middle piece. And we have a 3/4 inch by 6 inch, and that's the end piece. And then you'll have a little scrap left over. So go ahead and use your cutting diagram, cut your red paper out, 6 by 7, 3 by 6, 3/4 by 6, and then we will move on to the next pieces.
And one thing I forgot to mention, if you have questions and stuff, you can go ahead and put them in the comments, and we will, sometimes it lags a little bit for us to get the questions, but we will get back to them as soon as we possibly can to get your questions answered, okay?
Okay, how's that going? Yeah, it truly is nice here this morning. It's like probably 68 degrees. I hate to even say that because I know I've been following the news and I see how warm it is on the East Coast. So most of the time we're pretty lucky with weather. Ours is pretty mild, but there are a few times when it gets over 100. And there's a lot of times when it rains, so there's a trade-off there. But our rain makes it really pretty. Okay, so we have the red piece cut. Now we're going to just stack this up and set it aside. Okay? Okay, now this one's the one that's a little bit tricky. Honestly, it doesn't matter too much. Let me see if I can find my pieces again here. So 6 by 8, 5 by 7, and a 3 by 12. And a 3 by 12. Okay, so here is where you have a couple of choices. If you look at your instruction sheet, you can see on page 2, the little book that we're going to make eventually. Now it's going to look different here. This little book that we're going to make eventually on page 2 is part of some of this cutting that we're going to do for this paper right here. Now I cut it so that the 6x8 includes the globe, and that's what it looks like on the instructions. Jackie cut hers just the opposite, so that the 6x8 is the balloon. So this one even has it just a little bit different, has a little bit different part of the same paper. Okay, so what I'm saying is it does not really matter if you want it to look like the picture. That piece there is a 6x8. So you'll look at this piece of paper before it's cut and decide if you want this on your book, you want this on your book, or maybe another whole part of the but honestly, it doesn't matter. So sometimes it gets a little tricky when you start turning things around and around in your trimmer to get things trimmed out. So I would say just go with however it comes out and use this diagram, okay? So you'll have a 6x8, whether it be at the top or the bottom. You'll have a 5x7, whether it be at the top or the bottom, you choose. And then the 3x12 is pretty cut and dried, okay? So basically you want to end up with 3 pieces out of this, a 6x8, 5x7, and a 3x12. So think about that for just a little bit, and then keep in mind though, no matter how, if it's not coming out just like you thought it should, it's okay anyway. Because as you can see, here we have a book with one part of the paper. Here we're going to have a book with another part of the paper. And then on the instructions, on the original one, it has the front of the book on a different part of the paper. So 3 different ways. Doesn't even matter, totally up to you. So get those trimmed out, set them aside. 6x8, 5x7, 3x12. Okay, now let's set these pieces aside. And then we're going to bring in the third paper to cut, and it is a 12x12 brown script paper. And from that, you need a 6x12 and a 4x11. This is the brown script paper. You need a 6x12 and a 4x11, just like you see here on the paper. Okay, let's set those aside. Now you need a 6x12 and a 4x11 out of this paper, and then we only have one more, and it's a simple cut. It is full sheet of whiteboard paper. And remember, when you put this in your trimmer, if you want the boards to go the same way as we have them on the picture, you have to put them in the trimmer accordingly. You're going to be cutting 4 inches off the right hand side, and then that remaining piece you're going to cut in half so that you have 2 pieces that are 6 inches by 8 inches. And
Sorry, Missy said, can you repeat that, please? If I want the globe in the book that says travel, is that the 6 by 8 piece?
I'm starting to second guess myself here because I'm seeing that 6 by 8 needs to be used somewhere else. The 6 by 8 is actually part of the photo mat. A photo mat.
Which will be covered up with a photo anyway, so whichever piece ends up there will be covered up with a photo.
Yeah, I probably didn't, because they changed the sample on me here, it kind of threw me off. So anyway, that part I'm not sure about now. I want to wait till we get to that space. If you want to wait on that one for just a few minutes, it's okay. Okay, so now we have a 6 by 8 and a 6 by 8, and we're going to set that aside. So what we're going to work on first here is page 1, and you can see we have all this background material that goes on first. So we're going to add all of that. Some of the detail we're going to leave till the very end because we don't have to do it right now. It can be done after we're totally done with the little book on page 2. So page 1. And the very first thing on page 1 is our white frame, our whiteboard frame. And the very first thing that we're going to lay on is a 4 by 11 brown script paper, and we just cut that. 1/2 inch in from the right page and centered from top to bottom. It's going to look like this. And yes, the writing goes up the side. That's okay because most of this is going to be covered up. And sometimes it's kind of fun to have the writing going just a little bit different than what's normal. So one thing I didn't mention is we have some brand new chalk inks. Well, they're not brand new, they've been out a little while, but the colors that they suggested for this are brown jasper, and that's this color right here. It matches the brown perfectly. Black opal, that's kind of nice to have for some of the darker colors, like Blueberry Bliss is also a really good one. Blueberry Bliss looks like this. Just a nice deep country blue. And Black Opal looks like this. So those 3 are suggestions, and those are only suggestions. So before you go gluing anything down, I would suggest adding some color, and this is the piece that you're going to be doing. I would suggest adding some color around the top, the right, and the bottom using your chalk ink. And if you have never used them before, this is all you do. So you can do it like that, or you can take it and run it back and forth like this. Totally up to you. There's no right or wrong when it comes to chalking pieces. Okay. And again, this one's centered top to bottom. And it's in about 1/2 inch from the right-hand side. And I'm just going to put little bits of adhesive on mine because it is a sample. Centered top to bottom, in 1/2 inch from the right. And then you're looking for the red paper that's a 3x6, and you just cut that one just a few minutes ago too. And it's in about 1 inch from the right-hand side and 2 inches up from the bottom of the page. So something like this, and it's just for decoration. So if it's off a little bit, doesn't even matter. You can just eyeball it or you can measure. It's totally up to you. We haven't had any trains yet. I can't even believe it.
One thing I do want to mention about the prizes, though, so we have everybody's name, everybody that ordered in this bag. And when, if you ordered 2 kits, like one for you and one for your friend, or if you ordered 3 or 4, all in one bundle, you need to look at your friend right now and say, give them a number. Because your name will be called and it'll say, Patsy 1, Patsy 2, Patsy 3. So whoever ordered, if you ordered 3 kits, you have 1, 2, and 3. So somebody has to be Patsy 1, Patsy 2, and Patsy 3.
So my thoughts are you should be Patsy 1, 2, and 3 because you ordered. You did all the work. And you probably paid the money too. So. But that's up to you. Okay, we have the red piece on here. And then we have one more red piece. It's the 3/4 by 6. And it's going to go right here in this area, but let's just lay it up here for the moment. It's about 1/2 inch from the left edge and 1 inch down from the top or so. And then we have a 5x7 light blue paper that we just cut. I believe that's one of the ones we just cut. And we cut it on the globe side, and see, that's not going to always be the right one for your book. That's got me puzzled. So we're going to go ahead and add this to the blue side. It's a 5x7. And then the 6x8 paint matte paper. And that one is going here. So lay these out, move them around a little bit, chalk up the edges, and especially the edges that you're going to see. And as you can see, the tops of the matte paper, the bottoms of the blue paper, a little bit on the red. On the red, we used the black opal. It was kind of fun. Or you can use, actually another one, good one is called Ruby. Looks like this. That would be a good one. Or Bloody Mary would be a good one to chalk with. So your pieces should look something like this once you get things all situated. And again, it doesn't have to look exactly like the page. Just know that most of the outsides of all of this is what's going to show. And just a little adhesive. Remember, you have a hole in the center, so you want to make sure that you don't put adhesive where that hole is going to show. And then you have, once you get this all chalked up, I'm going to give you a few minutes to do that because it does take a little bit of time. And again, you don't really need to do the center, just do outside edges because most of this is going to be covered up by a photo mat and tags and all kinds of embellishments. So go ahead and glue things down so it looks similar to this. So yes, I think in the kit we have an extra piece that is the globe cut. So mine is a balloon and yours might be a globe. So when we get to that, we can make that work.
And those typically will be covered up with a photo. Anyway, so
Right.
whatever piece shows.
Right, most of this piece it's going to show is going to be covered up with this frame and a little photo if you choose to use that frame. Okay, how are we doing? Are we getting everything glued down?
Glenda found a finger thingy from Garage Mary in her packet. Winner, winner!
Oh, hey, she is going to be so excited. She'll be here this afternoon. She always asks, did anybody say anything? Well, not everybody says something because they're embarrassed. So don't be embarrassed. When you get a little finger caught, that's Garage Mary. And she has, I tell you what, she has made the cutest little prizes too. So I'll let her tell you about that later. But tune in later, Glenda, when, is it Glenda? Is that what you said? Tune in later, Glenda, when Garage Mary's here on the last class. And let her know that you found that because I think she has some of the prizes with her and she can show you what they look like. Super cute. She's just hilarious. We love that lady. So Garage Mary, if you're watching, you have a prize winner for your finger caught. Okay, so I'm assuming everybody's starting to get this all glued down in the background. This is really a little bit time consuming. And again, that balloon thing threw me off, but I think we're still on the right track. Okay, so for the photo mat that you see here, this big photo mat, this back piece, which is this white. I'm going to move this out of the. Oh, we have a train prize. So this, I would go ahead and add some color to. You can use the brown jasper. Who is the winner? Penny Torres, you are our first train prize winner of the day. So you don't have to email or anything. We have your information and we will get you a prize out. Congratulations. Okay, on this piece here, there's several colors that you can use, and I'm going to show you what they look like. Because again, mine's a sample. Here's Blueberry Bliss. That's pretty if you wanted to use that. Okay, that's what Blueberry Bliss would look like. If you want to use the new brown jasper, that would also be a good color. kind of a rusty vintage color. That's what brown jasper looks like on it. What other color? We had black opal. Let's see what it looks like. That would totally work also. Look at, that's pretty. I wouldn't have chosen this, but it looks really good. Sometimes it's nice just to add a little bit more color to the corners. Just kind of throws in a little bit more definition to your project. So that's pretty. Anybody wants to try the black opal, that looks really good. I'm going to try one more, and it's amaretto. That's always a good idea. So choose your color. So here we've used the black opal right here. Here we've used blueberry bliss. Here is brown jasper, and here is amaretto. That one, that works just about. And this one's a brand new one, so you got to be kind of sparing when they're brand new till you get them a little more chalky. These are actual. You can use these for stamping inks, but the more worn out they get, the chalkier look, because we do use a chalk base to be able to call them chalk. So that's the amaretto on this. So any of those colors is perfect. And that is the very first layer, the background layer of our photo mat. Okay, and then the next layer is 5.5 by 7.5 dark blue paper. It came from a die cut. So if you haven't punched it out yet, it would come from this die cut right here. Okay, it would look like that. If you haven't punched it out, go ahead and do that. It's 5.5 by 7.5. And I think, again, because it's so dark, I'm going to try the black opal on here and see what happens. It looks good, so that's a good choice. So if you wanted to use the black opal on this piece also, it looks really good. So if you haven't used the chalk inks before, you can do this. Makes it a little more choppy, but that's okay, that looks good. Or you can just go back and forth like I do. A lot of times I do that just because it's faster. And again, the corners a little bit more than the other parts. And this is the second layer to our photo mat. And so it looks like we have a couple of, where's my other 5x7? Okay, you have a 5x7 that came from your matte paper. Looks like this. And the finished looks like this. Okay, so you have your board paper in the very back, your dark blue paper in the middle of the mat, and then your matte, your pretty matte paper that goes on the very front. And again, now you have to choose again what color you would like to use. And I think just for fun, I'm going to try this Manzanita. Look at that. That's kind of complements this because it's got kind of a dark red pinkish color to it.
Roger Mary must have been having fun. But there's Shauna says, I found a finger thing too.
Oh, good. She's going to be excited. Mary, do you hear that?
And Jenny.
3? Oh, so 3. See, I think it's more now that people used to think it was a mistake, so they weren't going to say anything. Now you all know, so everybody's going to say, show us your finger caught. How funny. So that's kind of fun. That goes with the reddish color of that red piece. And it also kind of picks up the antique-y, almost pink color in the background. That's pretty. If you didn't want to use that, you could go back in with your jasper, your brown jasper.
Robin said tiki works well too.
Ooh, tiki's a really nice color. It's kind of, tiki is almost a darker color of this brown jasper. So that works really good. Tiki's always another. Anytime you have something you can use brown on, just about any brown will work. And I kind of like the ones that's a little more antique-y. So there's your photo mat. And we're not going to glue this down just yet because we are going to, one thing I'm going to show you, but then we're going to move on to page 2 so we can make sure that we get all that in. So what we have left here is this little banner that's just layered with brads. Also your 2 little tags layered, tucked in. Your banner here with the stars layered, glued down. And you have a couple of tags here. And how I like to show people to make a simple tag is because you're going to make your own. You're going to make the shoulders of your tag. If you take your paper and just gently pull those corners together so they match perfectly, okay? Because it's always hard just to take and cut. Nothing ever comes out perfect. Unless you're more perfect than I am. But not fold it, but just gently bend it so the corners match. Make a clip. And then there you have perfect shoulders that match. And then you're going to take your 1/4 inch hole punch, make a hole. So if you do that right now, that's fine. If not, then we're going to save both of these tags till last. We're going to save this little piece till last. So don't glue this completely down. Just know that you need a pocket here for these pieces. You're going to need to tuck these little rings in behind. And so just hang on, just maybe put a little spot of glue right in the middle to hold it down. But once you get to this part, let's move on to page 2. Then we'll come back and finish those up at the end. They're a little bit time consuming, but that way everybody can work at their own pace. So I'm going to move this out of the way. And then we have a full sheet of whiteboard paper. Is everybody ready to move on? You got your photo mat all put together, ready to glue down. You don't want to glue it down completely solid just yet. Okay, everybody has a 3x12 pink map paper. And let's find that. It looks like this. And it's about 3/4 of an inch down from the top. And again, you're going to choose a color. So you're about this far down from the very top. And I think I'm going to go back and use the brown jasper. I kind of like that. That's vintagey, and it kind of just goes with the colors that are already in this matte paper. I like that. So the brown jasper works really well on the matte paper if you want to use that. And again, the tiki, like she mentioned, is also a really pretty color. A nice, little bit darker tone than the brown jasper. That's going to glue on about 3/4 inch down from the top. Because once you get that glued on, you're going to look for, and it's also in this dark blue die cut, and you're going to have to clip this out. And you'll see that there is a little hole in one of these strips. And the reason for that hole is that means we don't need that piece. And we do that because people end up wondering if they've forgotten to do a part. But if you look and see, there's a tiny little hole in one of the blue strips, and that strip is not needed. And we do it, we have to move these strips up when we put it in the laser machine. So if the laser machine gets it in a little bit crooked, at least your 2 strips that you need are straight. And if it's off, then it's off on this very last one with a little hole. So toss the one with the hole if you can. If you want to keep it, you just go right ahead. But now you have 2 strips that are 1/4 inch, and you're going to glue one flush to the top of your 3x12 map paper, and one flush to the bottom. And chalk up any of those pieces that you want. It's a little harder to chalk up edges of the blue strips, but they're super dark and you're not going to really see a lot of the ink anyway. So it's okay on that if you want to leave those and just glue them down. Okay, and then you need to look for your 6x12 brown script piece. And this is going to, you're going to chalk up the edges of this, but it's going to go on about 1/4 inch up from the bottom of the page. And again, I would use the brown jasper on this because it totally lends itself to that particular color of chalk ink. Okay, so everybody have this glued down? Okay, I'm going to move this out of the way for just a minute to show you what we need next. And what we are building now is this little book. And this is where it's probably going to come in that this could be a little bit different than what you have. And it's probably because it's from the same part of the same paper, a different part of the same paper. So you have a 6x6 front. And this one here is has a balloon. You have a 6x7 that goes in next. It's red. Okay, looks like this. You have a 6x8 that you pre-cut earlier that goes in third. Okay, looks like that. And you have a 6x9 blue, and on the other side of the blue is the pink matte paper. Okay, and again, this probably will be two different parts of the same paper, but you're going to use the blue side on this one. So 6x6, 7, 8, and 9. So gather these papers. Gather all of these papers. And we're going to use our trimmer. If you don't have if you're home and you have a scoreboard or score pail, great. Or if you have a scoring tool on your trimmer, that's great. If you don't have any of those, but you have a trimmer, use a bone folder, a room key, an embossing stylus. Any of those things would work. But what you're going to do is each one of these pieces on every left side, you're going to score it in 1 inch. So you're going to score here, you're going to score here, here, and here. So let's just start with, if you have the balloon, start with that one. And we're going to score it in at 1 inch on the left-hand side. Make sure it's on the left-hand side. And I'm just going to use my trimmer because I didn't get my scoreboard out. And I do that a lot because I'm lazy. Okay, there's one. Your front page. The next page is red, so score in at 1 inch. And if you're scoring with a bone folder or an embossing stylus and your trimmer, go lightly to start with. If you press too hard and cut your paper, I can't help you because I'm too far away. If I was at an event, I could give you another sheet of paper, but do a medium pressure a couple of times, and that's all you really need. And basically all this is doing is giving you a nice sharp edge so that you can make a really pretty crease right here, okay? Okay. So with all this said, in order to put all of this together, you're going to have finished the whole entire rest of your piece, all except for this. This will stay on it'll go on the outside, and how you're going to do that is finish this, slide it into your page protector. You're going to measure in 1 inch, and then right along where the score line is, you're going to slit your page protector. After your pages are glued together along this 1 inch part, you will add more adhesive to the very back of your 1 inch pieces, and you will slide it through that slit in your page protector and glue it right here. And then that leaves these pieces all on the outside of your page protector, okay? Then I'll go through that again in just a minute, but we'll get these folded, glued together. So go ahead and fold along those score lines. Crease them. Okay, that's what you have now. And as you can see on the finished one, the corners are rounded. All you're going to have to do is, once you get it all put together, take your corner rounder and round the corners on. So you're going to glue the 1 inch part of the front page to the red page, more adhesive to the back side of the red page, glue it to the white page along the 1 inch section, more adhesive to the dotted side, and glue it to the last page and so on until you get them all glued together, and you have a little flip book for lots and lots of pictures. Okay, so go ahead and glue all that together. If you want to chalk it up, you can chalk this up later if you want to, but if you want to do it as you go along, it is easier. So choose your colors. I'm going to give you a few minutes to go ahead and work on that part if you want to, because it is easier to chalk as you go along. And just know that because it's a little book, you're going to be able to see the inside pages as well as the outside. There's one. And on two, I think I'm going to try Bloody Mary. I tend to go back to that one a lot because it's a nice deep red. Manzanita, again, is also a really nice deep red, a little bit brighter than Bloody Mary. But if you want these chalked up before you glue them together, now is a good time to do it. You can always round those corners later, so don't worry about that part. Just make sure you get all chalked, all glued together. And let's see here, I think I'm gonna add some of the jasper to my wood grain paper. I just like this color on this. It looks really vintage. Okay, we're going to glue, and I'm just put a little bit of adhesive because mine is a sample. Match up the score lines, the folds. Go ahead and glue your pieces together, your book pages together. Sometimes it helps to look at your edge as you go along to make sure you're not getting it all out of whack and then have to peel it back off. It's easier to look at it as you go along than it is to peel it up. So pretty much I'm just lining it up at the bottom, making sure it's right where the fold is. And there you have your little book. So I think since we can't add this just yet, what we will do though is, so this is something you're going to have to put a photo behind, so I would wait to put that on. You have a strange little piece that looks like, to show you what it looks like. It looks like this. Goes behind the word travel. That's in your die cut. So if you're wondering what that is, it goes behind the word travel there. And we have about 5 minutes of actual class time. So I think what we will do is we'll make one of these tags up here at the top. You have 3 die cut tags. Okay, I'm going to move this out of the way for just a minute. So again, now that we got this far, first I want to show you this one more time. Now that we got this far, okay, just laying mine out here. with the strip at the top, the skinny blue strips above and below, and then your brown script paper 1/4 inch from the bottom. So once this is entirely done, your tags, everything done to the background, except adding your book, then you're going to slide all this down into your page protector. You're going to lay this on top, making sure that the left edge is flush to the left edge of your background paper and your brown script. You will add adhesive to the back part here. You will slice, make a knot, a dot and a dot, and slice your page protector all the way down so that that's all open here. And then you will slide this through that slit and glue it down onto your background, leaving this, all the pages on the outside, okay, and all the rest of your project on the inside. And then you can still add your little pieces. Like here you have some tabs. There's little circles that go behind your tabs. Those tabs basically are just so a little vehicle so you can open your pages easily, okay? A little journaling piece. And right here, it's not the places you travel that make it worthwhile. It's the people you meet along the way. And when you go to put that on, adhesive here and here, because when you finish your tags, then they can tuck down in right in behind that. But let's put one tag together here. We have about 5 minutes left. We'll put one tag together. So what you're looking for here is just grab one of your tags out of your die cut.
Can I mention something just real quick? So on this one, when you put your book on, the reason that you make that slit in your page protector and slide this through is because this will adhere to the paper really well and stay. If you put this on the outside of your page protector, it peels right off the plastic. So you make that slit, slide this part in, and put the adhesive paper to paper. The rest stays out.
That's a good thought. We haven't done it sticking to the outside of the page protector in a while. Mainly it does work, but not as well. Like Stacy said, it tends to peel back off of plastic. So go ahead and chalk up one of your tags. And I'm using the black opal. I kind of like that dark, deep dark color. And when it goes onto blue, it lends itself to a little bit of a hint of blue in the background. Okay, then you have two different sizes of chipboard circles. You're going to need both of those. Now on our sample, we chalk them up. And some of them, on one sample we chalked them all the same color. On another sample we chalked some of them dark brown and some of them light brown, or some of them dark green, some of them light green. I mean, there's just lots of things that you can do with that. What I think I will add some color. I think I'll add the black, since we already started with that. And I'm just going to press some color in. So see how that changes that little circle all completely? And then if you want to add even a little more, it is a little bit wet right now. It takes a little bit of time to dry when they're pressed color in like that. And then I will come back with, I think we'll come back with Manzanita and see what that looks like. So basically we're just going a little ring, chipboard ring onto a bigger chipboard ring. Okay, matching up holes here. It'll look like that. And then you're going to cut your string. All your cutting instructions, always cutting instructions, are always in the top left. You're going to cut your string into 3 equal pieces, which means 3 8-inch pieces, and then they thread through these little holes, like the old-fashioned tags that you used to see on merchandise. And it just is a cute little embellishment. So each tag is made perfectly like this. The 2 tags on page 1, you're going to do the same thing, or you add them with a brad. So I think we've covered, does anybody have any questions? We've covered just about everything that is a little tricky. Even it was a little tricky for me, I got confused. Hey, I'm old, you guys, so give me a break here. Any questions?
Not that I see. I'm waiting a second to see if it comes through. Nancy says, I love this paper. This paper is so brand new that I actually just messaged our web guy and asked if he could get it on the website this weekend for you.
Oh, nice.
So,
I didn't even know it was available.
and, well, it just came in.
They
so
don't
it
give
didn't
me
get
the
on
new
yesterday.
papers. I get the stuff I have to print off from the printer, and then they tell me, see, now I'm learning with you. I have new paper to play with. Okay.
So this is the Away We Go paper pack. If you want to spread that out there, Mommy, they can see some travel
Oh my gosh,
stuff.
look at these suitcases. Are they not cute? Here's the one that we just used, has the hot air balloon and the little globe that I got you all confused on. And then here's the back side of that. Look at the suitcases. Are they cute? Oh, that's so pretty. We're going to Africa here in a couple of weeks. How cool is that? And then this is the back side. Oh my God. Oh, look at a whole entire
We'll use
sheet.
this one in one of the classes again today.
Oh my goodness. These are gorgeous.
So these will be on the website today. What you can do throughout the weekend, or throughout the day, if you bring up our website, shopquickquotes.com, and if you see certain inks that Patsy's using or certain products that she's using that you like, you can go ahead and put them in the cart, and then you can check out at the end of the day, and we have a special for you. But this one will be on in just a couple hours if you want to get that paper line. You would be the first ones to get it. This is the deal that we have for you guys this weekend. You get a free mega card kit with any $50 order. So if you add things to your cart, this is the, I'll let you flip through this. This is the, and it's really more of a mini book that you get.
It is,
card.
but it would make a cool card. So it's got a belly band that says, don't worry, be happy, and another little phrase about families down here. It opens up, move some stuff out of the way. Opens up here, 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 and then it's got all these little flip pages right here, all little pages. Oh, here another train coming.
But this is a kit you get free. It's normally a $19 kit with fun papers and big mega card. If you spend $50 this weekend, and we're only doing it this weekend, special for you guys, that gets added to your order automatically.
Oh, nice.
So here.
What about me? Can I use some of this paper?
You can.
I order it.
You can.
Okay.
Here's the train price. That was a quick train.
Debbie Lawson, number 1. So who is Debbie Lawson, number 1? Are you girls fight over that now? Or else I'm saying whoever paid for the kits probably belongs to them.
Okay, my comments I don't think are catching up here right now.
Give us a second. The comments are lagging a little bit behind, so just let us know if you need any help with any part of this last project.
Okay, somebody said I missed the coupon, but there's no coupon code. It's just if you get $50 before shipping into your cart, we automatically add this kit for you. So that's
This
the
kit
special
here.
for this weekend. I think everything else is good. So we have about 20 minutes or so before the next class starts so they can finish up this kit.
And the next class is called Let the Sun Shine. And this is one that Stacy designed. It is so cute. You're going to have a lot of fun with this one. I'm going to turn it over to Stacy. She's does an amazing job.
Okay, so we will be back at 10:30 Pacific time. Go ahead and finish up this kit and we'll get started on the next one. See you in a few.